What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Danny the Bull, back with another live stream here on Christmas Eve. And we're in the middle of a bit of a correction still on Bitcoin, but our gifts are coming next year. I'm pretty certain of that. So we're going to talk about the markets, what to expect, how to deal with the volatility, because I say it all the time. If we love the volatility to the upside on crypto, right? Because that's the volatility that brings about great gains. If you love that volatility, you have to deal with the volatility to the downside, right? Because the shakeouts, the corrections, they're pretty sizable. We saw Bitcoin with a decent sized dip on Tuesday. Price is up a little today. We'll pull it up in a second. But I would expect a little more downside perhaps over the next week or so. But it's all normal behavior for this point in the market. Nothing to be scared about. And a lot of good things on the way, in the next 10, 11 months in 2025. So talk about some of the alts that we follow here. Some Devve updates. Talk about Mcade. They had an AMA today. Talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. So make sure you light up the comments and let's see who we got here in the house. What's good? Jordan Riz first. Blaze second. What's going on, brother? B-Dubs in the house. How you doing, brother? Feeling bullish? Let's go. G Money got the Brett PFP. I think G Money's going to be happy in 2025 with Brett. HG in the house. Harish, what's good? Mustache looking like Santa Claus. Not quite. I ordered some razors from Amazon and they haven't arrived yet. This is about as deep as this gets. I wish I could grow a full beard, but it's not in the genes. Let's pull up the chart, see where we're at. Bitcoin at 95K right now. It had dipped all the way down to 92.6, a little lower. 92.5 was the low for today. So we saw some lower price action. Here's the 7-day. Had hit an all-time high of about 108, a little over 108. That was just a week ago, a little less than a week ago. And then we had this big dip down that was prompted by Jerome Powell. There was a rate cut on Tuesday, the third of the year, bringing the total to 1 point cut from the Fed funds rate. However, it was the remarks that spooked the market. Jerome Powell stating that there would likely only be 2 rate cuts in 2025, which I feel like that's been discussed. That's been expected. People have already speculated about that. But he also mentioned QT continuing. That's where the Fed, it's basically the opposite of money printing, right? It's tightening. And so the market responded. S&P was down big. I think it was the biggest day down for the S&P in a couple of years. And Bitcoin, whenever the S&P goes down 2%, you can expect Bitcoin to go down 10%. All right. And so we've seen a nice correction in Bitcoin, but this is par the course for Bitcoin, right? It's not straight up. We are up quite a bit from where we were. We were in an 8-month consolidation period and up quite a bit since then. So pullbacks are healthy. And the thing about it is, we get euphoric. People start feeling themselves, right? Alt season's coming. And then you get a pullback. And it's totally normal. Don't get shaken out of your bags. You should expect 3 or 4 pullbacks like this in a cycle. Okay? There will be more. There will be more pullbacks. And, I recommend following Rect Capital. They make great content over there. And really use historical data from previous cycles to map out the current cycle. And so far, they've been spot on, calling for a push up to new all-time highs in November. They called for this dip precisely during this time period. So they've been pretty spot on. They're using historical data from previous market cycles to do that. So give these guys a follow if you don't already. I always pull them up on the channel. And here is a tweet from them that illustrates that this market is behaving exactly like previous cycles. All right, so Rec Capital says in this tweet, in the 2013 cycle, it took 6 weeks of upside into price discovery before Bitcoin experienced its first major correction in week 7. In 2017, it took 7 weeks of upside into price discovery before a major retrace of 34% happened in week 8. And in the last cycle, 2020-2021, Bitcoin rallied 6 weeks into price discovery before Bitcoin's first meaningful pullback of 16%. And where are we now? I think we're in the 7th week of this since we broke all-time highs. So new all-time highs were formed around election day, right? Around election day. So we're exactly, I think, 7 weeks, and we have the first pullback, all right? Just like in previous cycles. And it's amazing how this works. Crypto can be really hard, right, because of the volatility. But if you learn how the market cycles work and repeat and are patient, then it's not as hard. It's not so hard. All right. And the one thing that I've talked about is don't bet against the cycle. I remember in the last cycle, there were talks of an elongated a super cycle, right? That it was going to go beyond the 4-year up to the 2-year of up, right? That it would continue up and that it was going to fall in line with traditional markets. Didn't happen. Around the exact same time as previous cycles, the market dumped. Bitcoin started a downward trajectory and the cycle started repeating. Earlier in the year, the ETFs had us fooled in thinking that this time would be different and we would have an accelerated cycle, right? Because we hit a new all-time high before the halving. That's never happened. And again, the cycle, everything reverted back to the cycle. And so you can't bet against the cycle. It almost works to the day. And sometimes it is to the day where, it's exactly like 200 days after the halving is when Bitcoin will take off and go to new all-time highs. And likewise, we're 7 weeks after breaking all-time highs, and it's time for a correction. So whenever there's a correction, you'll hear people, that voice inside people's head will talk about, well, maybe this is it. All right, so what we need to do is anticipate these corrections, and then you're better able to deal with them, and then you can take advantage of the volatility. And that's what I've been doing. I've been DCAing into some of the projects that I like. There are, good buying opportunities out there, I think, on some of these altcoins. And I've just been accumulating. And every time I think my bags are packed, I pack them some more. But here are a couple. Here's another tweet from Rec Capital. And again, we're in the parabolic phase of the market. And that's the shaded area, the green shaded area. Okay, this is the parabolic phase of the market. And I would expect another week or so of possibly more down, right? I think we're up right now, but I wouldn't be shocked if we pulled back down to 92, maybe even below that, and, formed a range for a couple of weeks before picking things up again. Things pick up again. But I do expect things to pick up again in January. And again, just look at last cycle. This is the total 3 market cap, total crypto market cap, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. And let's take it back to, let me see. Here we go. No, give me a second. All right. So this green candle right here, this is January. If you look back, December, this is the red candle right here. All right, let's go back a few more months. You've got August, September, October, sideways flat action. November, big green candle up, right? And that would look bigger. That looked bigger at the time because the chart has since been up and to the right. But you had this big green candle up in November, a pullback in December, and then the altcoin move January, February, March, April. 4 months of big green candles. But now also look at the wicks on the candles, right? Within those months, there was big volatility, right? But January kicked off alt season. Now let's look at, this is where we're at now. Sideways action. Again, same thing. July, August, September, October, all sideways action. We traded in that range. Huge green candle in November. And what do we have here in December? Same thing. The red candle that we saw in December of 2020. So to a T, the market's repeating itself exactly as it did in the last cycle. And based off of cycle history, we can expect alt season to kick off, because this isn't the Bitcoin chart. This isn't the total crypto chart. This is alts, all alts, right? The total crypto market cap, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. And we kicked off into alt season 1, 2, 3, 4 months of a parabolic run. And then you can expect your next correction. Okay, we had big red candles last cycle, 2 months of really scary gains being wiped out. And again, it's why I talk about being prepared for the volatility, right? Because if you're not prepared for these red candles that are going to come our way in spring, then you can get shaken out your bags. All right, because what followed from there, July, August, September down a little, October, November, and then we're done. So 4 months up. So there will be pullbacks along the way. This is the first pullback of the cycle. And history repeats. We're looking at a lot of up in the next few months, and alts to really start running. So good stuff. Let's see who else we got here. Harish says, I can actually grow a full beard, but wife hates it. I don't know, Harish, I never pictured you with white hair. Jordan says, let's go. Harish says, alts have started moving up today, and Bitcoin went up slightly as well. Yeah. And that's the flip side of it, right? Is when Bitcoin goes up. Let's look at the alts. You know, Bitcoin's volatile. Alts are way more volatile. So Bitcoin's basically flat today, but you're seeing alts up 3%, 7%, 5%, 4%. And I'm sure some of the smaller caps, let's pull up some of the ones that we follow. Tectum up 12%. Let's look at Mcade. Mcade's down a little. Mcade's been holding up strong. But prepare yourselves, and then, take profits, come up with your profit taking strategy. And, my strategy is going to be to take something off the table on the next run up. When the market starts moving like it did last cycle, the deeper you get into the year, the more defense you got to start playing, right? Right now, we're still playing offense, right? Loading the bags, good prices on these alts. So we're in offense mode. We're going to have to shift to defense mode the deeper we get into this cycle. And for me, I'm going to start selling, probably around March, April, depending on where my bags are, what my portfolio is looking like. Because at some point, they're paper gains until they're realized. And, I plan on DCAing out the way I DCA'd in. I'm not looking to capture the whole move at the end because it's going to get quite emotional. If you can imagine, I don't know, everyone's got a different position, right? Everyone's got a different number in their portfolio of where they're at right now. But think about where you're at and multiply that by, 5 to 10 or whatever it is. And then think about, 60% of that getting wiped out over the course of 6 weeks, and headlines screaming that, it's the end of the cycle. And, who knows, maybe a recession is here, and it's easy to get psyched out, right? So you protect yourself from yourself by taking some chips off the table, and having a profit-taking strategy. So if you haven't already done that, it's probably a good time. Jordan Riz says, Santa Rally, FTW. Bring it, Santa. Eli says, Donnie, how high will we go? I'm not sure. Let me, I have not looked at Donnie in a minute. Donnie's a meme coin on base. Holding up pretty well, actually. 260K market cap. Donnie's holding up pretty well amidst the volatility because everything's getting hit hard, especially everything. It's paired to ETH also, right? So anything paired to ETH is going to get dragged down by ETH. So we'll see. Can Mint Layer hit $3? Yeah, I absolutely think Mint Layer can hit $3. And I mean, it hit $1.15 or something, I think, earlier in the year. It's at 12 cents, hit $1. So it didn't it definitely went over $1, but it didn't close there. So it's saying here 84 cents on the high from earlier in the year in January. Currently at 12 cents. I think it can absolutely hit $3. Will it? Who knows? I don't know where my give me a second. Where my chart is. Mcade, Mint Layer, here we go. So with dilution, $3 would be less than $1 billion market cap. Yeah, it can happen. Will it happen? Who knows? The way I think of it is I position myself across different, I look at sectors that I like, gaming, AI, etc. And I position myself in a few different things. And if one of them hits, I'm good. So for Mint Layer, it's one of the three, big infrastructure plays like the L1s, L2s, the young L1s, L2s that I'm in. Tectum, Devve, Mint Layer. Okay. All three, I got in at a really low market cap. All three have the potential to get into billions. Which, do any of them do it? I don't know. If one of them does, I'm good. And even if they don't go into billions, they can still see, 10, 20, 15x gains, whatever it is. So we'll see how high it goes. But Mint Layer has a narrative I like. It's got Bitcoin OGs in it. And I'm actually having Enrico on the channel. It's tentatively set up for Saturday. Yeah, I should have Enrico, the founder of Mint Layer, on the channel on Saturday. So it's actually I'd probably be buying some more Mint Layer if it stays down here at this price. This is a good, if you look at it, I mean, look at the chart. This is like a good, strong place for it, right? Anything that you can get down here before alt season is a solid buy area. It's like Tectum. Anytime Tectum gets below $6, even at $8, I'm buying Tectum. But anytime it gets down here, the price reacts. You could go lower short term, but these are good DCA buys. And the thing about it is, no one has a crystal ball to say which of these small caps will pan out. You just position yourself across a variety of them and then, see what happens. But I like the chances heading into alt season. Imagine your portfolio 10x from now, and we have 20% dip. Can you take that? Correct. This is exactly how you should look at it. If this volatility, and the volatility, I talk about I'm immune, I'm numb to it. I'm much happier on green days, okay? Scientific studies show I'm much happier on green days when my portfolio is pumping. So as numb as we are to it, we're not immune to it. And the deeper we get into the cycle, the harder it gets. Because again, like Harish says, if your portfolio, let's say your portfolio is at 50,000 and it 10x'd to 500,000, you're sitting on $500,000, likely enough money to pay off your mortgage. Well, you got to pay taxes. So depending on where you live, could possibly pay off your mortgage, become debt free, have a different lifestyle. Imagine that 500,000, half of it gets wiped out in a couple of weeks, and you have people in your ear telling you it's the end. So take profits, come up with your strategy. B-dubs, do you think we'll have a double top? No one knows for sure. I think not. I think, everyone who compares this cycle to the previous cycles talks about how this cycle looks more like the 2017 cycle, which was more of like straight up and, a steady rise up and then a blow off top with some dips along the way. And I'm hoping that's what we have, because that's a little easier to navigate, right? Rather than a bigger dump midway and then like a double top. But prepared for both, again, anticipate at least 3 dips this cycle. And after every dip, one of those dips is going to be the last dip. Put it that way. One of those dips is going to be the last dip. And so last cycle, trying to find it. There were 4 dips last cycle, okay? You can't see my cursor, but right by this circle over here, that red bar, that's the first dip, okay? This is a weekly chart. It's a long wick down, so it was a sizable dip, but it didn't last weeks. It lasted 1 week. If you go right below this black bar, the second bar down, that's the second dip. Only lasted 1 week. Right here on the slant on top is the big dip that lasted a couple of months, right? And that helped form the double top. That was We came back up for a double top, and then the fourth dip was the final dip. And the thing about it is, because last cycle had a double top, it was a little tricky because we recovered and we were going back up, and people thought for sure we headed for 100,000, right? And there was all that money printing going on. If you were there, I'm sure you remember it. There was crazy euphoria, not just here, but in the stock market. You know, everyone was making money. And so a lot of people had a hard time calling the end of the cycle. When we get to that point in the cycle, October, November, I will have very little money in this market. That's my plan. And if it goes on longer, that's all good, as long as I made my money. I'm not going to obsess on making the most amount of money possible, because that's how you lose money. So you have to play defense at some point, and the deeper we get into 2025, the more defensive we have to get. So whether or not we have a double top or a blow off top this cycle, I would lean more towards a 2017 type of cycle. I also hope that that's the type of cycle we get. Again, it's just easier to navigate. But be mentally prepared and take profits along the way. It'll help you stave off your emotions. Have you checked out Wilder World yet? Their recent video is absolutely incredible. I've seen Wilder World. They've been around. They've been doing well. Let me take a look. I think they'll do well. I mean, they're a legit gaming project. This came out last cycle. They've been building. The game looks dope. The yearly looks much better than the all-time chart. But yeah, they're up quite a bit. About a 3x from the bottom. Well, more from the bottom, like a 4x from the bottom. A 3x from November. Actually hit 99 cents a dollar. All-time high, $7. But I do like Wilder World. It's a solid project. I think it'll do well. And Mcade is partnered with them. It's one of Mcade's partners. So Wilder World is I think it's a AAA game. So I mean, you know, another thing is, like, you can't buy them all, right? And you can't catch them all. So I don't own it, but I like it. Have you heard about all the Omi drama? I've seen bits and pieces of it. But I try not to, I don't know. I'm more focused on charts and coins. Happy Christmas for all from OG Vault family. What's good? Merry Christmas, Vault. Blaze, thanks for the super chat. Danny, what are your thoughts on AI tech? I like AI tech. It's my biggest AI bag. Let's look at it. I'm actually waiting for some funds to clear to buy some more. I've got some funds that I moved over, and just waiting for them to clear to buy more. This is a great area. If you like AI tech, this is a great accumulation area. Anything below 10 cents went to an all-time high of 45 cents early in the year. They just put out pictures. Let me pull up their website. Here it is. I have their website. So they have a few things that they do. They have a launch pad. They have an AI marketplace where they have AI stuff, and they're also building a place in Europe where they'll have high speed and big, computer processors that will lend out GPU, right? Which is a great narrative. I've heard people say, are they actually building it? Whatever. They've put out pictures of them building it. They're a doxed team. So the thing about AI is you never really know what's what, but I kind of treat all utility tokens almost like meme coins, right? Because we're just buying narratives and everything's going to, go crazy and we speculate and then everything sells off after the cycle. And so I learned to treat them kind of like meme coins. And I love the narrative of AI tech. I love the sector. The chart was really strong early in the year. It's held a good floor at this level. I think it went down to about 7 cents at the lowest after 45, going up to 45 cents. But there's no reason why this can't get surpassed 45 cents. And I'm holding a big bag of it. I like it. So I'll be buying some more AI tech. I like AGI, which I don't have, Delicium. This is a great one. It's up to 172 million. It's been consolidating in this range also. So I don't own any of this. I wish I had gotten in. I'd heard about it all the way down here before the big run up, and I just missed it. So I've just stuck with AI Tech and a couple of others, but AGI is another good one. Ori, 110 million. And then, of course, like the big boys, Render as a big cap. I bought my father-in-law some Render last week. Where's Render? Here we go. Render at $7.65. $4 billion market cap. I think Render can get to, 40 billion. We'll see. But it's a safer play in the AI space, AI/DePIN. So the other AI tokens that I'm in, one of them took off pretty well recently, and that's Astra AI. Still a small market cap, only $23 million on this. It tripled. This was down at $1.10, went all the way up to $3.40. It's come back down. This is one that's grinded through, and it actually held up. Look, the all-time high is only about $4. It held up pretty well compared to other things. The other coins were down 80, 90%. Astra was down like 70%. They are putting aside, first of all, they just got $20 million. They said invested into them, or they partnered with someone and they got $20 million to play with. They're going to be doing buybacks over the next 4 quarters. So they're going to put $1 million into the chart. There is a buy and a sale tax on there, which I don't really like. But that's my other one. And Pal AI, I've been holding. I got in this under $1 million market cap, and I just held it. It's a 2.4 million. And who knows? It's like an auditing. They do like AI audits on contracts and some other things. And I'm just holding it because this isn't one that I have like great conviction in the team. Like they're changing the world. They're building like great technology. But when AI takes off, there's one that it's held up relatively well. And when AI takes off, I could see this going to $100 million market cap, right? And that'd be a 50x if it gets there. So I have a small position in it. I just let it sit there and I forget about it. But those are my AI tokens. AI Tech's my biggest position. Pixel in the house. What's good? Thanks, brother. Final days of 2024. It's exciting because we talk about, again, what's coming. And if you look at, politics aside again, we have headwinds turning into tailwinds. What I mean by that is we have an SEC on the way out, an administration on the way out that was a headwind, which means that they were going against crypto and crypto was and holding it down. And that's being flipped to a tailwind to an administration that is pro crypto and will be pushing it forward, right? So we're going from a headwind to a tailwind, and inauguration's coming in January, third week of January. Trump just picked a new advisor for the Crypto Czar committee. I guess this guy, Bo Hines, is chosen to lead Trump's Digital Asset Policy Council. So he's going to work alongside David Sachs, who's the crypto czar. Sachs is very pro-crypto. And Bo Hines is also very pro-crypto. He's a former congressional candidate backed by a crypto super PAC. All right, so again, a lot of good news coming in January. It's kind of like a perfect storm for the market. And even Van Eck has learned about market cycles. Van Eck is predicting, let's see, they project Bitcoin to be valued at $180,000, ETH at about above 6K, and other projects like Solana and Sui above $510 respectively. Someone taught these guys about the cycle and how it works because they know, right? Look at what they say. They expect a surge after this correction, with Bitcoin retracing 30% and altcoins seeing declines as steep as 60% later in the cycle. However, they say that following the next peak, they anticipate. Sorry, I lost my place. They expect after the retracement in the summer, a recovery is likely in the fall, with major tokens regaining momentum and reclaiming previous all-time highs. So exactly what we talked about earlier about the cycle and the dips, right? And alt season, coming, and then a big dip, and then prices rebounding. Someone told Van Eck about this, and now they know also. So it's a perfect storm. Nothing has changed, even though the price is down. To me, these are buying opportunities in some of these projects that we like. G Money, I did not buy Fartcoin. Did you buy it? I missed it. I saw Fartcoin, and there's a whole fart meta. I think there's a unicorn fart, and there's a whole fart meta out there. But I missed Fartcoin. Let me know if you caught it. Mo Collections in the house. What's good, brother? Harish says, AI Tech and AGI are my main AI bags, and small amount of AI fund in Near. Near is good also. I held Near. I bought some during the bear market, but I just consolidated it into my soul. My biggest bag currently. So I'll tell you my two biggest bags right now. They weren't always my biggest bags. They just went up. Number one is Mcade. Again, because I had a bunch of it, but I bought it. My average price on this is like a penny, a little below a penny maybe. And so it's definitely, it's below a penny, my average price. And so it's gone up a lot. And so Mcade is now my biggest bag. Russ did an AMA today, talked about a new partnership they have with another game. I think they're up to over 100 partnerships over there. They're revamping their tournaments in 2025. So they're going to make those better. They are going to be partnering with more ambassadors to build out token awareness and brand awareness. So that's coming, and they've done a really good job of executing on their plan. So Mcade is currently my biggest bag. And my second biggest bag is one that I wanted to talk about today. And that's Devve. And look at this Devve chart. It's up 15% on the day. The whole market has been down, and Devve has been explosive, up 176% on the month. This is a coin that was 14 cents. I've been talking about Devve this whole run. It was oversold. 14 cents in September. When Devve came out, and there was bad timing, right? When it came out, because it came out in the middle of alt season, the first alt season that we had early in the year. So it came out at, I want to say 40 cents, immediately went up to $2, $1.50, whatever it was, peaked at about almost $2. And I started buying, high in the dollar range. I averaged down and I loaded up at the bottoms, 14 cents to 25 cents. I was DCAing, but it's still only a $78 million market cap. And I think Devve, I'm very bullish on Devve, just listening to them talk about what they're doing. Because what Devve does is they are a blockchain solution for enterprises, for platforms, for like for NASDAQ, for all these, exchanges that want to tokenize assets. That's what Devve does in a regulatory compliant way. They help countries get on the blockchain. They help big platforms get on the blockchain. They custom build the blockchains through their sharding technology, 8 million transactions per second, regulatory compliant. And the reason why the chart looks like it does right now is because in January, they are set to announce a major partnership with a well-known platform. We don't know who. In the traditional finance sector. All right. So they say it's a well-known household name that they're going to be partnering with. And they're also partnering with 3 nation states. And the potential for Devve, for Tectum, for MintLayer, for these infrastructure plays that are small, layer 1s, layer 2s, the potential is if they gain traction and gain partnerships and awareness, they can get into the billions in market cap, right? And, you see the biggest ones, Solana just crossed 100 billion. ADA has hit 90, I think, 90 billion. Even Polkadot last cycle, before having anything on it, hit $50 billion. So a $5 billion market cap for a layer 1 isn't big by any means, right? 50 billion is big. And keep in mind that last cycle at this time, those numbers seem crazy, but at this time, last cycle, December of 2020, Solana was $2.27. $2.27. All right, it went on to 114x. I don't know if that happens to Devve. I don't know if that happens to Tectum or MintLayer, but those have the potential to have big moves. So Devve is my second biggest holding now, just because of the move that it's had. And if it continues up, it could flip my Mcade bag. After that, it's Rio, Tectum, Naka, AI Tech. For me. Those are my bags. Let's see. STX is king. STX is solid. Yeah. Let's pull it up. It's close to being a top 50 coin. 2.5 billion market cap. All-time high was March of about $3. STX. Very solid. I don't have AI agent coins. They've been doing well. I'll just be wary. Get into good ones if you're getting into them, because what happens is when one starts running, everything starts, and some things can be vaporware or whatever. But I'm not well versed on the AI agent sector. Can't wait for TET next run. Yeah, and Tectum, I've seen people down on Tectum. To me, the price has just been consolidating like everything else. I know there was an AMA that wasn't well received by Alex, a couple of AMAs that weren't great. What they need is, and Devve's got a really good guy on communications. His name is Austin. I forget his last name. But he's great at explaining the product, explaining all the technical stuff, and you walk away feeling very bullish. Alex, the CEO of Tectum, is, they created SoftNote, which is great looking technology. He's very smart, but, Russian is his first language. He has a more difficult time communicating, you need that like a salesman almost, right? To be able to sell the product. And that's what I would like to see out of Tectum. But Tectum's got a lot of potential to blow past that $45. So I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. I think their main net goes live on the 31st. So we'll see how it reacts. It's in 8 days away for Tectum. Anyone have a good link to get OMI off Vivi and to convert OMI to OMI base? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Can you bridge on? Are you able to bridge it on in the Coinbase wallet? Look at what else I have in my notes here. Just to, before I leave, unless you guys have more in the comments. Again, here, Devve, happy to see Devve featured in one of the top 10 innovative crypto projects to watch in 2025. This is a post by Binance Square. I think Devve has the potential to gain a lot of awareness in 2025. This is the post. So Devve was one of 10 projects. Injective was listed in there. Fetch AI was listed. So that was good to see. And for those of you in Games for a Living, this is another one I'm in that hasn't performed well recently. I'm still bullish on Games for a Living. They released their new roadmap. It's down to a $30 million market cap, less than a penny. Here we go. So it's been down. But these are, solid projects. There are a ton out there. I speak about the ones that I know about, but there are a lot of solid projects out there that are in good buy zones right now. And I think in 3 months, we'll be looking back at these opportunities and looking at them as opportunities. My Rio bag is, I want to say, my third biggest bag is Rio. Rio I got in at 11 cents. My first buy was 11 cents. I averaged up. I bought at 20 cents, 70 cents. I bought it at $1 and over $1. But I've accumulated a good amount of Rio. Do you have specific price targets? I don't have like specific price targets. It's, I mean, in my head, I've like, I'm trying to stay away from getting married to like, this is going to this price sort of thing. I'll pull up Rio. Like Rio, I think I'd like to see it at $24 or more. I think it can get to $24, $48. I'll probably, so if in April we have a big run up and Rio is at, $12, I'll probably take some off the table. Even if it's less than that, if I'm really looking at my profit taking strategy as where's my total bag at and where are we in the market? And the deeper we get into the market, the more I'll sell. And also, as this thing gets going, I think it'll become a little clearer where some of these are going, right? Like if Rio gets stuck for some reason and it's April and it's, just at its previous high earlier in the year, like $3. We'll have an idea of, maybe it's not going to get to $48, right? If that's the case, or whatever, it might not hit some of those higher end targets. If, it's April and it's $2 or $3, you're not going to see a 70, it's unlikely that you would see a $72, $3.6 billion Rio. And so, again, it's kind of like driving down a dark road with your headlights on. You can only see what's in front of you. And so we'll take the information as we get it, and it's going to be a wild ride, I think, in 2025, but definitely, let's see, you've been caught, Mr. Hopefully, how have I been caught, real Goku? Is this Goku from, my friend Goku? Yeah. But as the year progresses, things will take shape and it'll become clearer, and you can develop a real profit-taking strategy. But definitely, this is something that everyone should be thinking about now before they get super emotional. And Bitcoin dropped below 95K. But again, I do think we have some more downside over the next week or so. Pumping a token. I pumped no token, sir. Yeah. Let's see. I saw that they were talking about the Chuck drama from last year with Cavell. I saw that was going on. Sorry, I'm just pulling up. There was something else I wanted to pull up. No. That's about it. So thank you, everyone, for coming through. It's Christmas Eve over here. I got setting up to do. I'm hosting for Christmas. If you're all celebrating, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to everyone. Likely be on before the end of the year with another live stream. I've got the Mint Layer CEO coming on, Enrico, on Saturday. I might have the Tectum team coming through on Friday. That's not been finalized yet, but we'll have some good stuff before the year is up, and January is going to be fun. So thank you all for coming through. I'll catch you guys in the next one.